Well, yesterday was 2 weeks since we put the seeds under a napkin and wetted them down and got them to root. And we planted that little seedling with that little root right in here. And yesterday, before we watered them, we let them go 3 days before they were watered. So they were able to make it 3 days without water because you have to go somewhere. Okay, I've never used these before. They're pH papers. We just take one out of the pack, and then take it, and we'll touch it in our water. We'll see where we're at. And we're looking at about a 7.5 pH. We're gonna put 1 drop of our pH in there. Let it drop a few times, drip a few times, and you get 1 drip in here. Shake it, then pH it again. So that was barely even a half a drop that came out of there. And with the paper turning red, I can tell you right now it's way too much. Because red is 1 to 2. So that's how fragile that stuff is. About 1 drop per gallon of water. Alright, what we did, we shook the jug up and it went back to yellow. That was a false reading, the red. So the pH was about 6.2. The optimum pH is, I believe, 5.8 would be the optimum. You don't want to really go down as low as maybe 5, 6. You want to keep it right at 6.2. You're doing good. You get it at 6, you're great. Now the last few days, we've just been letting this do its thing. We're just letting it grow. We let it go 3 days without water. Could have let it go 4. We don't want to deprive them of water that much right now. The light's at 600 watts. It feels pretty warm under there. We'll turn it to 800 in another week. But this is 2 weeks and 4 days since we wetted the seeds down in the packets. Okay, so what have we been doing? Well, we've been making sure that the water's pH to 5.8. We don't really want it to go any lower than that, and it can go just a little bit higher. It's 6.2 if you have to. If you have to water it at 7 with no pH in there at all, it'll work. But now we're pHing our water. So our water was pH'd at about 6 the last time. We're going to make up another batch today and water them because they need watered again today. We were letting them go for up to 3 days without water over this last week. On Monday, it'll be 3 weeks since we started this. So your garden should look something like mine by this time period. Now, pH in the water is crucial for the right nutrient uptake. So we want to definitely get our water pH'd and keep it pH'd. We're at 600 watts on the light right now, which I can feel the light on the back of me right now. We're going to switch it up to 800 within a week, and everything should just be going fine. We're going to keep the water pH. We're going to turn up the light next week, and it won't be long before we give it its first fertilizing. We do have the radiator on the floor in here turned on its lowest level. And with that, we only seen a low of 64.8 degrees in here with a high of 92. It's 83 degrees in here right now with 37% humidity. We had a low of 24% humidity and a high of 60%. We don't have no humidifier in here. So that would bring up the count on that. Which would add to the cost of this project. It would help out the growth though. I am going to water the plants today. I'm going to make up a batch of water. We get one of these gallon jugs filled up. Put 1 drop of the pH down in it. Test it. And then add a little half a drop to get it about right. And that should take us right at about the 5.8. If it goes under, we'd have to pH up it, which we don't have none. So we would have to pour half the jug of the water out fill it back up with fresh water, and that should get your pH running right again.